It's Jalen Duren after a 22-22 game last night. I know that it takes a while for us to view a certain player and feel like they've arrived. Okay, I mean, it takes an awful lot for a player to get you to buy in right away, right? Cade Cunningham had a lot of people buy in right away. Isaiah Thomas had a lot of people buy in right away because he dazzled and he was the best player on a really bad basketball team. Of course, people bought into Kelly Tripucka at the time too because he could really shoot. But Duren's been really impressive so far, and I'm not saying he's an All NBA performer, but he has gotten better at spacing, at defending, at moving his feet, at staying out of foul trouble. I'm generalizing here. There's a game or two in there that has been a little bit of an issue. But with more minutes, he has gained some more responsibility, more confidence. 7th in the league in rebounding right now, which is great. Now, he needs to be. Nikola Vucevic is averaging 32 minutes a game. How much of this is J.B. Bickerstaff? How much of this is Jalen Duren? I don't know the answer to that yet. But you'd like to see him play a little bit more than what he is right now. Nikola Jokic plays 35 minutes. Domantas Sabonis averages 35 minutes. Victor Wembanyama averages 34. Stop. I'm not saying he's the same player as them. Okay, hang on. I'm just saying from a minute standpoint, I would like to see him play more. Hell, Isaiah, you know who Isaiah Hartenstein is for OKC? He plays 30 minutes a game. That has to increase for Jalen Duren. I know they play different games. I love his hustle. I love how he has becoming a lot more active for Detroit. And almost go-to might be a little bit of a strong word, but they're not winning 6 of their first 8. They haven't won 4 in a row just because of Cade Cunningham. He's been the primary reason, but he's not the only reason. So I really like where Jalen Duren is at, and I hope it continues. Welcome back. Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. The text line is Sports Radio to 21,000. Look, we were talking just before the break about the Lions and some of the things that, we see as a positive, and we are trying to turn the corner on the trade deadline day. If they win in Washington, and they should win in Washington, okay, there's no Jaden Daniels, there's no Terry McLaurin. Battling with myself internally here, I could say, well, Taylor Decker is supposed to be out. Christian Mahogany is out. Penny Sewell says he's going to I think he's made 59 consecutive starts. He says he's going to play, which is great, but you've lost some players too. Let's not lose sight of that. Detroit won and lost early on without Aleem McNeil. They won without DJ Reed. They've won without Terrion Arnold. They've won without Brian Branch. They've won without other players who've been important to either side of the football. They've won without Taylor Decker, for crying out loud. Kirby Joseph. So they should win in Washington. I don't think that wipes away the concern that people will have. They'll be able to boast, still haven't lost back-to-back games in a few years. That's fine. I would brag about it too. I think the reckoning comes in 2 weeks when they're at Philadelphia and playing the Eagles on the road, an Eagles team that, some have. Howie Roseman is everybody's desirable general manager. They're coming off a Super Bowl. They lose a guy like Brandon Graham. They coax him back out of retirement. They sign a guy like Zadarius Smith. He's not productive. He retires. That's okay. We'll trade for Jalen Phillips. We need some help on the back end. We'll trade for Jair Alexander and others, right? And giving up just a 6th-round draft pick for it. He's not standing pat. He believes in improving his team. Those are the types of general managers fans love. It's not fantasy football. It's real football. I don't give a crap about the picks right now, depending on where the pick is. You can have multiple picks and deal from a position of strength. I guess the question I would have for the Lions is if you traded for a Jalen Phillips, and that's impossible to do because you didn't have a 3rd-round pick. You got a 1st, a 2nd, a 4th, a 5th, 2 6ths, and 2 7ths, I believe. But if you traded a third round pick or a second round pick or a fourth round pick for Phillips, you couldn't do the second. That would be ridiculous. But a fourth round pick for somebody, you realize if you lose that player, you get the fourth round pick back, right? You know that. Okay. The magic of what Roseman has done, and I think what Lions fans would like to see Brad Holmes do, is that he is, as Albert Breer of CBS Sports or SI.com, put it, he said, look, his strength is he's got enough in asset management to have 3 third-round picks stockpiled, so moving one of them isn't a big deal. That's what makes Philly different. Detroit has 2 6, 2 7s. Could they have not moved any of them? That would have been one of my questions. The other question is, and I think we brought this up, you moved your third-round picks on draft day, which is fine. You believed in a specific player, Isaac Tisla. And I'm telling you, folks, there are certain players that general managers believe in and tell us they believe in. Bob Quinn did that with a cornerback. Do you remember? Do you remember the second-round pick, Tease Tabor, out of Florida? What did Bob Quinn say? I watched more tape on him than any player I think I've ever scouted. That's what he said, okay? He used a second-round pick on him. He hardly ever played. Yeah. And you know what? He never lived that, and I'm not talking about Tabor. I'm talking about Bob Quinn. That's a guy that you looked at and you went, oh, my God, I can't believe he did that. You used a second-round pick out of a big program, too, by the way. I mean, we're talking about Florida. You go out there and you scout. You and I scout Florida because we're watching him every flipping weekend, right? You use that much capital on him, and he started 5 games for you in 2 years before you let him loose. Okay? One of the biggest busts the Lions have ever had. You can go back to Andre Ware. You can talk about him. You can talk about Joey Harrington. You can talk about Charles Rogers. You can talk about all kinds of different players. Mike Williams, go ahead. Well, Laken Tomlinson he won a Super Bowl for San Francisco. He's been a good player. Yeah, he was out of North Carolina, and he was a good guard. He was a really good guard. Or Duke, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Duke, ACC. Got the 2 blue bloods mixed up. The Tease Tabor thing is he went to Chicago and started 1 game, and then went to Seattle and started 1 game in 2 years. We're talking about a guy who was a second-round pick, played in 39 games, started 7, and out of the league at the age of 28. In a league that needs corners, needs depth, could not play. All right? Every general manager who doesn't win a Super Bowl and talks about certain players like that are held to those players. When Brad Holmes said, Isaac Tisla is my favorite receiver in the draft, and he gives up that much capital, was it 3 third-rounders? Is that what it was? To move up, what was it, 10 spots to get Isaac Tisla? That kid should be starting for you right away. Am I wrong there? He should be starting right away. How in the world? And I like the kid. I predicted, I said, you know what, this guy's going to be, and he's not just because he's a local guy. I like him because I think he's a big physical receiver, and I think he's one of those guys who can really help your team in a lot of different ways. But I want to know why he's not playing. Seriously. We're talking about a kid who has played in 8 games and has 1 start and has 3 receptions and 6 targets. You can look at snap percentage on players. It's a fun thing to do. His percentage on snaps is 21%. So I'm telling you, Trent, I'm looking at this and I'm going, hold on a second. Either he's not good enough or the Lions staff doesn't know what it's doing. It's got to be one or the other. If it's a combo, it's a problem. We'll take some texts when we come back. We're brought to you by Meyer this hour on X's and Bros.
$1,000 in cash is calling your name. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Ho, 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 ho. Santa Bucks are back at Meijer. This Friday and Saturday only, save up to $50 with Santa Bucks. Stack your Santa Bucks on top of 20% off sale items for fa-la-la-la low prices on brands like Lego, Squishmallows, Barbie, and more. Clip your Santa Bucks coupon in the Meijer app and get more merry for your money with Santa Bucks. This Friday and Saturday only. Santa Bucks and Meijer. Now that's what makes the holiday season a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
35 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Thanks for being with us. Want to get to your texts? You can call us on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843, or you can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. So let's get to some texts. Go ahead, Trent.
How much credit does Trajan Langdon get for not extending Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey? I say a lot. In the past, the owner is just extending everyone without proving it.
Yeah, being patient is tough. Why should he deserve credit? Oh, I see. I think I'm reading the text. I get it. Here's what they're saying. Make sure they have a good year before you extend them.
Right.
Agreed. Jalen Duren continues at this rate. You're going to extend him. Right? You would think. Okay.
Yep.
What if he doesn't?
You probably wait. You have to wait, right?
You wait what? For how long?
Until you have no more team control.
Okay. So another year.
And even if you have to pay more because you waited, at least it's worth it, because if the player then proves that they're worth more money, how does that really hurt you? You know what I mean?
Do you think there could be a situation where either player, specifically the player we just talked about, says, you know what, you didn't show for me, I'm out.
Sure.
Okay.
But I think rather than getting a bargain early, if you wait their rookie contract out and then pay them, and maybe you have to pay them more and you don't get as much of a deal, right? Mm-hmm. I don't see I don't see a problem with that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just so you know, I mean, so they can be, basically, so people know. So they have a rookie scale deal. It ends at this year. That means they can now become restricted free agents.
Yep.
Okay, just so people are aware. They've been given opportunities. I don't know how to view Jaden Ivey. 23. Last year was on pace for a career high in points, field goal percentage, 3-point shooting, rebounding, all these different things. Ivy, what's his cap number? 30? I think it's 30.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. Duren's is 19.5. So Detroit can match any opposing team's offer sheet this coming next summer, okay, this summer, if you will, to keep him. I don't know what other teams will look at that. I think both are attractive. Can't imagine anybody paying them so much where Detroit wouldn't be able to match it. You're basically letting the other teams set the market price for you with your two players. Fine. I hope you don't lose either one of them. I would pay them depending on the price tag. I think Jalen Duren can be, he's 22 years old, man. He's a young player. He's getting better. Jaden Ivey is concerning for obvious reasons, but when healthy, really complements Cade Cunningham. Think about it for a minute, folks.
Yep.
This team has won 6 of its first 8. They've won 4 in a row. They've done it with Herculean effort from Cade Cunningham to a certain extent. I mentioned the 2 bigs for sure. You lose Jaden Ivey, that's not an easy thing to quickly replace, okay? Shooting, versatility, deck and drive guy. You know, I know he doesn't always – the numbers wouldn't tell you they play great together. But you do need a guy who can shoot the basketball. You don't have that on your team right now. You don't think this team misses Jaden Ivey? Just because they won 6 of their first 8 doesn't mean, folks, that you can just – pan it off and say,
doesn't mean that they couldn't
no
benefit.
big deal, right? It doesn't mean that everything's fine. You could still be better.
Yeah.
Why do you think Malik Beasley is out there talking openly on social media about, if I come back, I'm coming back to the Pistons? I can't talk about the Pistons, but my agent can. Because Detroit lacks shooting right now. There's no Marcus Sasser. There's no Jaden Ivey. Karis LeVert's not a 3-point shooter, and Duncan Robinson has struggled.
He's been underwhelming, yeah.
Yeah, he's been really underwhelming. I didn't expect him. I hope you didn't either. I don't expect him to come in and average 25 points a game.
No, but his reputation was, he could at least come in and fill the shoes of Malik Beasley.
Yeah, I mean, he made 180 plus triples a year ago. Now, that's not as many as Malik Beasley, but he was supposed to be part of the answer. All right. I said this when Beasley was not signed, and for good reason. I said this before. I said, you have to make up a certain amount of threes. Beasley set a franchise record. Tim Hardaway had a lot of threes. How are you going to do that? So I said, if you're thinking that it's just Duncan Robinson, you would be wrong. He made, I said 180. He made 190 threes last year.
More than 2 a game.
Okay. He made 187 threes the year before. Is it fair to assume that he would be able to do that? Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think that's fair to say that, yes, he's the kind of guy that I think can partially fill the shoes of Malik Beasley. Okay. But he wasn't going to be the only one. I said Ron Holland's going to have to do that. I said Asar Thompson's going to have to do that. And Asar Thompson, a little bit of a scare last night with an injury that fortunately he came back from. But I said, if you really feel like 3-point shooting is the way things go in today's league, and it does, how do you make up 319 from Malik Beasley? There's only one player who made more last year than Malik Beasley. Okay. So how do you make that up? In addition to the 319, Tim Hardaway, who I think was kind of underappreciated, he made 168. So let's just say it's a wash between the two Michigan players with Tim Hardaway Jr., the 168, and Duncan Robinson with the 190. I know you're giving him about 30 or so. But I said to you, look, if you think Karis LeVert's going to come in and fill that void left by one of those 3-point shooters, you're sadly mistaken. You don't really know his game. He only made 46 threes last year. There's only three times in his career where he made more than 100 triples. He's not that kind of player. The most he's ever made was 127. So where is the rest of it going to come from? What did I say? Sure, those young players, but I said, the other guy, the really important player, is Jaden Ivey. Now, you may not always like the way NBA played today, because we see three-pointers attempted, and it's really old. Okay, I get it. I'm not going to completely disagree with you. But if that is the way the game is played, and your team thrived in that type of environment a year ago, you need a guy who can do just that to make up for the guys you lost.
You got to hold pace, man.
And Jaden Ivey last year, 2 years ago, I'm sorry, 2 years, he had 124 triples made. And before you say, well, that's not 319 like Malik Beasley. No, but you expect growth from younger players. 23 years old, he was well on his way. He made 63 triples last year in 30 games. Okay. So when you're making that many threes and you're trying that many threes, you're making 2 a game, what are you going to get? You're going to get the 180, 190. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you make a little bit more one game, right? So you're getting close to that. So you understand where my point was. Those 3 guys had to make up for the loss of one prolific 3-point shooter for one season. And without him, it's really important. Does that mean you extend him? Absolutely not. I'm just telling you, if you don't extend him, and he signs as a restricted free agent elsewhere, and you don't match it, you got to make up those threes. That's 2. That would be 2 years in a row now, where you're suddenly trying to find an answer from deep range. More text. Go ahead.
Shep, attempting to draw a comparison between Quinn and Holmes via Tease Tabor and Isaac Tesla is reckless. Tesla is 8 games into his NFL career. He's had 2 very impressive catches, but made a few good blocks. Haven't we been complaining about the offensive efficiency?
Yeah, I don't think it's my point. I wasn't comparing Tease Tabor and Isaac Tesla. What I was comparing is that general managers are oftentimes defined by certain moves.
Yeah, they're judged by certain draft picks. Yes.
Right. And when Brad Holmes comes out and says, Tesla's my favorite receiver in the draft. And Bob Quinn says, I've never seen a guy on tape as much as I've seen T. Tabor. You are, by fans, married to those players. And those players better be good because your reputation is on the line. You surrendered 3 third-round picks for this young player. My question, if you had listened all the way through, was why isn't he playing? That's an issue. You would think just a regular third-round player or third-round pick would be playing. Okay, I'm not saying he should play over Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamison Williams, but he's a third-round pick. You would think he would be a starter. Okay. You re-up with Jamison Williams, which makes the third-round pick even more confusing to me anyway. Okay, because there's only one football to go around.
Wasn't Kirby Joseph a third-round pick?
I believe so.
So was Tracy Walker. He started for you for years. So was Kenny Galladay. He got paid.
Yeah, he got paid by New York. I'm glad he didn't get paid by the Lions. And Kenny Galladay put up good numbers in Detroit. That's why he did get paid. But either way, you've got a guy who should be a starter, and he's barely playing at all. It's the assumption, and we don't think this. I don't think it either. But the assumption on the outside looking in is like that's a wasted pick.
Yeah.
In a third round, I've said this ad nauseum forever. The first 3 rounds should be starters. Period. Your first round pick, your second round pick, your third round pick. I give a little bit of leeway to a quarterback because it's a tough adjustment. But still, Hendon Hooker was a third round pick. He should be the backup. Okay. He should be groomed to be that next starting quarterback. Otherwise, you fail the pick. And he didn't get right. He just got cut last night by Carolina, I believe. Anyway.
Yeah.
Isaac Tesla, who I like, who I said he's going to be your third wide receiver. People argue with me. No, it's Khalif Raymond. I said, you don't spend a third round pick. You don't spend that type of capital if you don't start the guy. Why isn't he started? Why he started one game? Why is he playing more? Why is he getting more targets? You can defend it all you want, and I like it. I'll repeat that. I like it. 6 targets, 3 catches is not worthy of a third round choice. And don't tell me it is. And I know we've been complaining about the offense. This is an additional complaint about the offense. I'm not blaming Isaac Tesla per se. I'm wondering, is it him not getting the offense and comprehending what he's supposed to? Is it John Morton not being creative enough to find a way to get him involved? Is it Dan Campbell not stepping in and saying, this kid's got to be more involved? How are you down in the red zone more often and not getting him looks? 6 targets, 8 games, 3 catches. Granted, 2 touchdowns, 2 spectacular grabs. Actually, I would say all 3 of his catches were pretty damn good because one didn't go for a touchdown. It was a first down, right? So it was fantastic. That might have been the best of all of them. But you've got to admit, I don't care how much you support him, because I do too. You've got to admit that there's a question there. If you don't see that, I can't help you, man.
And you also don't need to be mad at the player.
Right, that's why I said it's not on Isaac Tesla. I'm wondering out loud. Is it him? Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it the head coach? Is it the general manager? Why in the world did you draft a guy in the third round, give up 3 third-round picks? That's big capital to get a guy who's your favorite receiver in the draft, and now we're watching him play on special teams or sit on the bench with his helmet between his feet and looking at another wide receiver and saying, nice grab.
I'm just simply bringing that up because I know that a lot of the people, like he's the hometown kid, so a lot of people are biased towards him. You don't need to be mad at the player per se, because like Shep's saying, it could be on the coaching staff as much as anybody.
It's frustrating to know that this dude is a good player by all intents and purposes. Sure looks like a good player. Not saying Brad Holmes was wrong. I'm wondering aloud, and it's a fair question.
Yes, it is.
Why isn't he being utilized more in this offense?
Shep, he's not even being looked at.
That's what I said. I said targets. He's got 6 targets. 6 targets, 3 catches, 8 games, 1 start. That's a bad line. If it were somebody other than this guy, who's a local product, and it wasn't a third-round pick. Or let's say it was a third round pick. would you not be wondering aloud, how the hell is this possible? Why is this being done?
Yeah.
Another text. Go ahead.
This one comes from a good friend, and he simply says, Karis LeVert's got to go. By the way, this friend is a Michigan fan.
Look, it shouldn't matter at some point. Who cares whether you support Michigan or Michigan State? When they get to your professional team, that should go right out the window. If you're a Michigan State fan and you're rooting against Aiden Hutchinson, but you say you love the Lions, you're a liar. Okay.
Good example.
If you were a Pistons fan and they drafted Mateen Cleveland and you said, sorry, I can't stand him, so I don't want him to succeed, you're not a Pistons fan. Check it at the damn door. Okay? It's stupid. We're 8 games in, man. I would gotta go. You're bringing him off the bench. You're suggesting you got to go. So this would be my question. Okay. Let's say you don't want him on this team anymore because he's been disappointing to you. Fine. Who gets his minutes?
I mean, the cynic in me, and you might agree with me, Shep, I would say Marcus Sasser.
He's not available.
But who gets his minutes in the big picture? I'd rather Sasser more.
There's a hip problem. Okay. Based on what?
I don't know. Potential.
Right. Potential. Okay. So you'd rather have potential rather than a guy who's proven.
I'm not saying I would.
Oh, I know.
I'm saying if you're going to take away LeVert's minutes, who's going to take them? My answer is Marcus Sasser.
Right. And my question to that is, how effective do you think Marcus Sasser is going to be?
Yeah.
He's a better 3-point shooter. I would agree with that. He shoots more threes. He's more capable of 3-point. That's more his game. Marcus Sasser is a 15-minute a night player.
Yeah, he can also run point guard. Which, if you're trying to take the pressure off Cade, that matters.
I suppose so. I'm not trying to take the pressure off Cade. I mean, he gets a lot of money. I want the pressure on Cade. I don't give a crap about that. I mean, do you want Javonte Green in there? Do you think he fits? I'm just wondering. I mean, you say Karis LeVert's got to go. He gave you 10 in 19 last night. 10 in 19. You picked him up. What was your expectation? My expectation for him was he was going to be about a 20-minute a night player. And I was hoping for a line of, 11, 12, and 5. That's what I'm hoping for. He's kind of giving me, to be honest with you, he's giving me almost what I expected. So maybe I'm at fault here because my expectations weren't high enough. You really got to figure out who the guy is. All right. Last year, he gave you 15 points per game in Atlanta in 26 and a half minutes. Injuries play a part. He was injured. So that's why I lowered it to 20 and hoping for about 11 and 12. 11 or 12. You give you 11 points off the bench on a regular basis, giving you 20 minutes, that's good production.
You'll take that.
Yeah. Phone number on the Meijer hotline is 866-838-4843. And text program Sports Radio 21,000. When we come back, a national voice is getting generating a lot of social media buzz regarding the Tigers. We'll explain when we come back on X's and Bros, brought to you by Meijer.
Save a good deal more this holiday season with Meijer brand hot deals. Enjoy big savings with Meijer brand ingredients and make your festive Thanksgiving meal even better. Like cans of Meijer cut green beans for 49 cents each, Meijer turkey stuffing mix for 99 cents, cans of Meijer 100% pure pumpkin are just $1.09 each, and Meijer chicken broth is 69 cents. Shopping for holiday meal essentials is a good deal better at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Huge here with a message to all of you Lions fans. My good friend Josh Garvey, who runs Doran Mayhew's Grand Rapids office, will join me every Thursday with former Lion Lomas Brown, and we'll go inside the Lions each and every week, all the way through the Super Bowl. Doran Mayhew is proud to partner with The Huge Show, and we're proud to have a guy like Josh Garvey join us in studio every week. If you have a Lions question or comment, you can drop them at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook. Doran Mayhew, proud to be a part of the West Michigan community and across the entire state with their corporate worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan. So make plans every Thursday, 5 p.m. It's Josh Garvey, who is the managing shareholder at Doran Mayhew's GR office, with Lomas Brown on The Huge Show going inside the Lions every Thursday at 5 p.m.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. And if you missed any of today's show, be sure to check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your podcasts to find the greatest hits from every day's show.
The Freddy the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Home run! Home run! He hit it a mile! Let's give them the keys to the Hall of Fame, but not tonight. Tonight they are in the Stanley Cup. Steve Eisenman, come get it.
It feels like cool. Heaven must be lying. I got one question for you, Michigan Nation. Who's got it better than us?
Right center field. That's got carry. It's gone. Number 500 and history for Miguel Cabrera.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Yes. This game is over.
Let's put the kick.
They score. Red Wings win. Detroit basketball.
Okay, that Detroit basketball was impressive again last night in a win over the Jazz. I don't care how you feel about the Jazz, who are now 2 games under 500, how I care and how I feel about my team and how they go about their business is most important. Welcome to the final hour of X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Pistons extend that winning streak to 4. They knock them off 114-103. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, each with a double-double. Cunningham had 31 points, 19 in the fourth, by the way, and 10 assists. Duren had 22 and 22. I oftentimes watch a game and I say, who is the best player on the floor? Who is the best player on the field? Who is the best player on the ice? You know, Alexander Ovechkin scoring his 900th career goal. Man, it's unbelievable. Last night. What is it? Cade Cunningham, generally the best player on the floor. Jalen Duren is pretty damn good last night. Really good. Anyway, Detroit as a whole. They hold the Jazz, not a great team, but still, you hold NBA players to 38.5% shooting. Really impressive stuff. So the 4-game rule. Baseball free agency is tonight at 5 o'clock. The Tigers have 9 free agents. Okay. You don't care about Montero. You don't care about Canely. You don't care about Cobb. I don't blame you. There's really only 2 of the 9 who you're going to try and take a look at and see who would you want them back? Kyle Finnegan, raise your hand. I'm right here. Absolutely. Gleyber Torres, professional hitter, not a good defensive player. Length of a contract might stop-gap your way to Kevin McGonigal, who continues to tear up the Arizona Fall League. I don't know. I've said this time and time again. You're going to have Javier Baez back, right? You think McGonigal's a fast tracker, and I think he is too. And he should be with this team this year. He and Max Clark, if they continue for what they did last year, should be on this team at some point this year. May not be out of spring training, but at some point this year. It's going to be a young team. You could use a veteran third baseman. Who that is, okay, let's debate. Go ahead. People want Alex Bregman. Turned down $41 million for Boston. There's a reason Boston's not going to commit to Alex Bregman. Is that enough for you to say, I don't want him? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I don't want him. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Detroit is a possible landing spot for him. You would have thought Boston would want to keep him. Remember, they signed him to a 3-year, $120 million deal and had all kinds of big dreams for him. He ends up playing this past year in 114 games, hit 273, had 18 bombs, 62 ribbies, and had a high OPS, 821, his highest since 2019. All right. The question is, what will it take to keep him? Well, it sounds like it's going to be too much, but in reading a lot of different articles, there's a handful of teams that could use him, including Detroit and Seattle. So keep that in mind. All right. Bregman at American Park in his career, 24 games, 242, 618 RBIs. For what that's worth, I'm just giving you some numbers for Alex Bregman. Because I know a lot of people are out there. I want him. Do you really want him? How badly do you want him? I'm going to say just about it. Be careful there, right? All right? Because as much as I like him, remember, he said he was willing to move to second base for some teams. As much as I like him, he's going to be 32. How long of a contract do you think he's going to want? How long of a contract did you give him? We're not talking about, him. He's blocking Jake Young. Those days are gone, I hope, for most of you. But you do have a couple of other fielders who you feel high on. Anderson, you feel good. Bryce Rainer, you feel good. Obviously, McGonigal, you feel good. I'm not saying you don't sign a guy because of that. I'm just bringing those facts up. I wouldn't sign him to a contract longer than 3 years. And I doubt he would take that. Then you're stuck with him for 32, 33, and 34 at his ages. Remember this, in all likelihood, there won't be baseball in 2027 because there's going to be a lockout after next year. Anyway, that's part of the headlines. All right. The other part is this. Former Lions head coach Buddy Parker is part of a 9-member group of coaches who are semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame coaches category. He led the Lions for 6 years to 2 NFL championship titles and playing in a third. He also, as a rookie, won a championship in 1935, which I believe was when Detroit was the city of champions. Lions were champions. Tigers were champions. Joe Louis was champion. That's all part of it. Here's our poll question. It's a Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. Which Detroit decision maker do you trust most? Brad Holmes, Scott Harris, Trajan Langdon, Steve Eiserman. Vote as often as you like at XP Mornings or at Shep Matt. Follow me on Twitter, and we'll give you the results in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow. Let's get to the results of yesterday's poll question because I want to get to 2 specific topics before we're out of here on this Tullymore Thursday. One is that we've got a national talk show host on MLB radio suggesting that the Tigers are going to trade a key piece of their team. The other is more and more ground-swelling support for a former Lion as an MVP. I think you can guess who we're talking about. But let's get to the final results from yesterday's poll question and the Daily Wager. That Daily Wager is brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook assessment. What's your feeling on the lines of the trade deadline? You understand it? You're mad as hell. You're frustrated, or you're confused. That's what we asked you yesterday. We asked you to vote. How did people vote, Trent?
All right. Well, the lowest response was I'm mad as hell, which I love to see. 37% said I'm frustrated. 21% said I'm confused. 31% said I understand. So there's a lot in the middle ground there, but no one's really angry.
That's interesting. That surprises the hell out of me. I thought for sure it would be mad as hell.
Mad as hell finished last.
Yeah, so it's more frustrated than anything else. Barely. Okay. How about the Daily Wager? Last night you went Pistons, I believe. Tonight you could go the National Football League when it begins another week. When I always look at the weeks, I always think, is it week 10? Is it week 11? It is week 10, and it starts with the Raiders at the Broncos, who are 7-2 atop the AFC West, which Pat Kerwin told us yesterday and earlier this morning at 6:35 when we replayed it, the hardest division in football. What did you have? What did you have last night? What do you got tonight?
Well, last night I had Isaiah Stewart to hit 2 threes, and he went 2 for 6. So
good job.
He did take a lot of them, but he made 2, and that's all we needed. So that's a win for the week. Tonight, though, I will go in National Football League, and I'll simply take the Broncos money line.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a good game, divisional game, right? Fun one to watch, but I like the Broncos to win.
Okay, Broncos are giving 8.5. They're giving 8.5. And the over-under is 42.5. Vegas is bad. Okay, when we come back, we'll play the sound from a national MLB host who thinks the Tigers will be trading Tarek Scoop. We'll get to that when we come back on next BrO's. Plus, the national belief in Matthew Stafford is very strong. Were we the ones who were out to lunch on him? We'll get to that when we come back on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday after this.
Save a good deal more this holiday season with Meyer brand hot deals. Enjoy big savings with Meyer brand ingredients and make your festive Thanksgiving meal even better. Like cans of Meyer cut green beans for 49 cents each, Meyer turkey stuffing mix for 99 cents, cans of Meyer 100% pure pumpkin are just $1.09 each, and Meyer chicken broth is 69 cents. Shopping for holiday meal essentials is a good deal better at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network, but you don't need to be in Michigan to tune us in. Search XB Mornings on X or X's and Bros on YouTube.
I know how much you love football, and I know how much you thirst for Lions talk. Hi, this is Matt Shepard. Every Friday morning on X's and Bros at 8:35, we will dive deep into the Lions, what went right, what went wrong, and what we can expect next. We call it What's Brewing with Lions analyst Rob Rubik, brought to you by Ferris Coffee. He's going to join me every week to break down the Lions and their opponent. What's Brewing with Rubes, brought to you by Ferris Coffee, every Friday morning at 8:35 on X's and Bros.
Okay, I don't think we got to this yesterday, right, Trent? We didn't get to the Steve Phillips stuff, or if we did briefly, I don't think people had a chance to necessarily digest it. Let me play that from yesterday. It was a couple of days ago, where Steve Phillips talked about trading for Tarek Skubal, and we'll use this just in case you missed it yesterday, because we did play it, but I want to make sure you're aware of how other people are suddenly jumping over. Go ahead and play it just for some refresher. Do we have that? Do we have the
Yes, my bad. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so the trade I have is Tarek Skubal. He's going to get dealt from the Detroit Tigers. I have him going to the New York Mets. I think in return, he's got 1 year left before free agency. They're not going to be able to sign him, I think, right now. Scott Boras, the agent, are going to take him to free agency. They can bring back two power arms in Brandon Sproat and Jonah Tong. They need to replace Gleyber Torres at second, Luis Angel Acuna, and then Brett Beatty. They can slot him in at third base. I think they can answer a lot of questions trading Tarek Skubal to the Mets. And the Mets, David Stearns, I know he doesn't like playing with the big starting pitchers. He assumes the risk, but it's time to get in that game. That's the deal I see for the Tigers and Mets.
And then what was used as that springboard, because that's what it was, springboard, for other members of MLB television, the MLB network, to use similar line. Like Lauren Shepard yesterday morning said the same thing. She didn't say it in the morning, she said it later. She said, here's the big deal. When she was talking to Steve Phillips, that's what's coming. It's not her coming up with this idea. Hey, I think he's going to the Mets. It's her saying it, and then that goes out on social media.
Reacting to someone else's report. Yes.
Or a colleague's prediction is what she did. Buster Olney on ESPN has said, hearing more and more that Tarek Skubal may move if the Tigers get the right opportunity, the right trading partner, the right pieces coming back. I'm not telling you that it's different. Okay? I'm not telling you that this is going to be not possible at all. Because the buzz is around Tarek Skubal. But the buzz was around him last year too. And I warned you, this is going to get really old. Here's what Olney said. Other teams believe the Tigers will seriously consider moving him if they can glean what they want to trade. There is every reason to expect significant bidding for Skubal, who will be eligible for free agency after next season. So when Steve Phillips goes out and says, well, they got to replace Gleyber Torres at second base. Steve, you're forgetting something. Their best prospect and the best hitting prospect is going to be on that team next year. If Kevin McGonigal will continue to hit well, he'll be your second baseman next year. They also have a long-term deal. Another guy might play second base in Cole Keith. I don't know where he's going to be. Okay, this was my big complaint last year. I got into a debate with John Vanderwall about this. Moving him to first base, I thought was stupid. I thought it was reactionary. I thought it was a knee-jerk. Here, Colt. How are you, Scott? I'm great. How's your offseason going? Oh, it's going fantastic. Just had a really nice week on the beach, and I'm ready to get back to work. I'm start swinging the bat tomorrow. I'm going to start working out tomorrow after a week off. Hey, that's great. Can you get a first baseman's glove? We got to deal with Rawlings. Get a first baseman's glove. Oh, sure, no problem. Why? Because that's where you're going to play next year. Okay. Get that footwork down. We're going to have so-and-so come and help you. Gary Jones, who's now gone. All right, so they start working with him. Boom, 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 all this stuff. Hey, Colt, middle of spring training. Just so you know, Torkelson looks pretty good. You still have that 11 1/4 inch glove, right, for second base? Good. Make sure you keep that handy. But I've been practicing first base all winter long. I know, but we overplayed our hand here. I mean, Judas Priest, right? So I was pissed off about that. I thought it was stupid. Your number one prospect and the number two prospect in all of minor league baseball, the number one hitting prospect of all time in baseball, is going to be your future second base in all likelihood. Because the word on the ground is that he's not necessarily the greatest fielding shortstop. Which is another concern of mine. That these guys coming up, they're supposed to be really good hitters, but they're not good fielders. Jace Young. Anyway, Cole Keith. So a little bit deeper problems than perhaps people actually realize. So when Steve Phillips says this is who you get 2 power arms, you get a utility infielder who will take over at second base, but the Tigers don't want him at second base. And then, an 18 home run, 250 third baseman who, is just a guy. And you're going to have one of your young guys move to third. That ain't it. That's not what you get for a Cy Young Award winner. Anyway, Buster Olney continues. He says, the Mariners are expected to be among the teams that go after Skubal. Remember what I said. The Mariners have 8 top 100 prospects in their system. 8. Detroit's got 4. The Mets have 4. The Mariners have 8. That's really impressive. Okay? Dodgers have 7. Anyway, I'll continue. The Mets, of course, have an acute need for an ace to lead their rotation, a need born through their late season collapse, and they have the sort of major league ready young talent that the Tigers will want, like Jonah Tong. The Red Sox are well positioned to make a run at Skubal if they want as well. These guys all love Jonah Tong. Good for them. Whatever. Look, a guy who is – I'm trying to figure out – he's the 46th ranked minor league pitcher or 46th minor league player at age 22. He's their 4th best prospect. And they act like, okay, he's the second coming of Nolan Ryan, who started his career with the Mets, I'm sure you know. And that the Tigers are going to jump at that idea. If this is Nolan McLean, who's their number 1 prospect and the 11th overall, that might be different. It might make us feel like, okay, you trade Skubal, we get your number 1. Why is that a bad thing? Just out of curiosity. At one point, that would have meant the Tigers trading Casey Mize. At one point, that would have meant the Tigers trading Matt Anderson back in the day. At one point, that would have meant the Yankees trading Brian Taylor. When the Tigers traded with Florida, remember who their number 1 pitching prospect was? Jacob Turner. They traded him to the Marlins. All right? So I'm just telling you, it's okay to expect a little bit more from the best pitcher on the planet. Mets want to sign. What's that? Oh, yeah. So I'm getting the 1 minute mark. So I don't understand why all these writers feel like, well, Jonah Tong is the guy that, the Tigers would accept. If I'm Scott Harris and I'm playing from a hand of strength, I'm not taking your 4th best prospect in your system. I'm giving you the best pitcher on the planet. He has proven that over the last 2+ years. I want your best minor leaguer. Period. Olney says the only sure thing in this situation seems is that Skubal will not sign a long-term deal with Detroit before he reaches free agency. Another writer. There are mixed feelings on Skubal, even if he's headed to free agency in a year. Some believe the Tigers can still squeeze another playoff season out of him and then reassess under perhaps a new economic climate in baseball. In other words, you're hoping you get a playoff year out of him, and then you're hoping that baseball owners collectively hold hands in a circle and say, we're not going to spend as much as we used to. That is not happening.
Yikes.
They can't help themselves. It's been proven time and time again. You've got to take a quick time out. Back with more on BrO's after this. Brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino.
It's time to go in the huddle.
1, 2, 3, top flight!
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. I'm Ed Kingersky. Michigan running back Jordan Marshall is blossoming into one of the Big Ten's most dynamic ball carriers. The junior, who's made only 2 starts, ran for a career-high 185 yards and 3 touchdowns in last week's win over Purdue. He's now 4th in the league in rushing with 729 yards and 8 scores. Jordan and the Wolverines have a bye this week before heading to Wrigley Field in Chicago to face Northwestern November 15th. Late season in the elements near the shores of Lake Michigan, the Wolverine running game should be in good hands.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Ho, 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 ho. Santa Bucks are back at Meijer. This Friday and Saturday only, save up to $50 with Santa Bucks. Stack those Santa Bucks on top of 20% off sale items for low prices on brands like Lego, Squishmallows, Barbie, and more. Clip your Santa Bucks coupon in the Meijer app and get more merry for your money with Santa Bucks. This Friday and Saturday only. Santa Bucks and Meijer. Now that's what makes the holiday season a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. And if you missed any of today's show, be sure to check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your podcasts to find the greatest hits from every day's show.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
The Michigan Sports Network is your exclusive home for X's and Bros with Matt Shepard and The Huge Show later today at 3 p.m.
Seeing some stuff on social media. Welcome back. X's and Bros Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Seeing some things on social media where people are predicting where certain players free agents are going to go. It's not a surprise that it's a lot of Mets and Yankees and to a certain extent Dodgers and Phillies, the big spending teams. In fact, one baseball insider recently had all these different names associated with where they're going. and every team except for three players were going to one of those bigger, let's call it bigger markets. Okay. And then the bonus mention they had was Skubal getting traded to the Mets. When do I stop thinking that this is all a plant or people just being cheap and following and saying he's going to the Mets? And when do I start to think, well, this has legitimacy behind it? The Tigers fans should be concerned. I'm not even sure Tigers fans would be concerned. You know why? Because I think they expect it. I really do. Trent, here's a homework assignment. I want you to talk to your buddies. Not your grandfather, because he can relate to certain frustrating situations in the past and has that clearer mindset than probably a lot of other people. But your buddies, do they really expect Tarik Skubal to be a Tiger next year?
No.
Number one. And number two, because you expect it, does that ease the pain that you may lose him? In all likelihood, you're going to lose him. I mean, I don't care who you are. When people are talking about it, you can be the diehard Tiger fan you want. $400 million is just too much money. And you don't want to be once bitten, twice shy, right? Just because it's a new general manager doesn't mean you still haven't lived through the pain of losing Justin Verlander for guys you don't remember. Do you know who was in the trade? Who was in the trade for Justin Verlander to Houston?
Jake Rogers?
Jake Rogers. Who else?
Couldn't tell you.
Daz Cameron. Franklin Perez. The jewel of that three-player heist was Franklin Perez.
Yikes.
He was 19, and he was supposedly the best, one of the best that they had. Okay? So remember that. Franklin Perez. Then you got to look at this. JD Martinez. Who was, let's just play this little game. Give me one player. All right. One player who JD Martinez was traded for. Who did Detroit get for JD Martinez?
Lugo.
Good one. Good job. You win. You win the prize. Yes. Dawel Lugo was one of them.
Your point's well taken, though, Shep.
Yeah. It's crazy. You and I have been so frustrated by those two specific trades. Jose King was another one. Do you remember him at all?
No.
Sergio Alcantara was another one.
Nope.
Do you remember him at all? No, you don't. Because those guys weren't good players. Okay? I don't care what they did in the Arizona Fall League. I don't care what they did in the Dominican. I care about what they could do in the majors. They didn't do anything. Okay? So because we've been burned by those two trades, Tigers fans almost embrace. If you've accepted the fact that he's not going to resign for Detroit, what would make you think that? Look, people get hit by lightning when they didn't expect it. Okay? There are people swimming in the ocean that get bit by sharks and they didn't expect it. We could get surprised by Chris Ilitch opening up a checkbook and going, I'm willing to spend $400 million plus on Tarik Skubal. I don't see that happening. Do you have the John Heyman sound that I sent you by chance, Trent? Okay. John Heyman said last night on a podcast, I think it's his own, where he said, look, the Tigers were at somewhere, this was a couple years ago, somewhere under $100 million. Let's just call it 90. And he's bound to ask for, Scott Boras is bound to ask for a contract that what would be the starting point, do you think? Would it be Garrett Cole? Yes. And Garrett Cole's was at $34.5 million. It was well over $200 million. So if you've got that gap of over $150 million to make up, and it's probably more than that. Actually, Cole's was in the $300 million range, wasn't it? It's $250 million gap. How are you reconciling that? How do you make that up? It'd be different if it was $50 million, which is easy for me to say. It's not my money. It'd be easy if it were just a couple of million. Think of how close Detroit was with Alex Bregman for a moment. And they didn't bump it up $2 million per year. You think they can make up a gap of $250 million, Trent? And that's just assuming that's what the contract is going to ask for. What if the contract's $400 million? What if they're literally closer to $300 million apart? They're not signing guys like Carlos Correa or Alex Bregman when the margin of difference is within $5 million a year.
No chance.
So that's why I don't think there's any chance of doing it. With that said, he's gone. You've come to the realization, why wouldn't you do it now? In all honesty, why wouldn't you do it now? Why in the world would you wait and roll that dice? Okay, Matt, I want to roll the dice. I think we got another year in him. Okay. I'll tell you when you'll know. You'll know shortly in this free agent time frame. Because if you're all in and you're going to keep him another year and you think you got a chance at winning the AL championship, you're going to go get the guys you need to get to make that happen. It can't be just, I'm going to bring him back, Trent. Come on. Riley, Parker, Matt, Vierling, in case you missed it. Javier, come on. Colt, Spencer, Dylan, Jake, great mustache. Love to see you. You can't do that. Am I wrong?
No.
You may do that to win the division, but you can't do that. Oh, Jack, you're here. Oh, you opted in on the $20 million. Thanks for the 15 losses. Take your place in line. You can't do that, dude. It's just not possible. You're not going to win the American League doing that.
It's one of the bigger debates that people my age have, Shep, is whether or not to pay Tarek Skubal. And what a lot of people say is that they expect more. And that if you're going to move on,
expect more what?
You're going to let him walk for nothing. You get rid of him now, to your point.
Right. When you say expect more, can you clarify that?
World Series.
Oh, right. This team's not good enough the way it's built right now.
No.
You're gonna lose Gleyber Torres. All right? You're going to lose him, okay? You're going to lose some other players that you and I don't care about. Let's bring back Finnegan. Let's hope. Your starting rotation next year, Skubal, Mize, Flaherty. I'm waiting. It's not Job. It's not Olsen. So you're going to have to sign a couple of guys. Let's say Framber Valdez. Okay? So there's 4. You really need, how many starting pitchers do you need a year? 11, 12? Okay. All right. So you're going to need more because you don't have anybody who's ready to come next, right? Okay. The rookie last year, fine. Okay. You want him. I don't blame you. All right. He's going to be a good player. So there's 5. Why do I forget his name? Why did I lose his name, Trent? The kid who started in the playoffs. Damn it. What the hell's his name?
Oh,
God damn it.
I lost too. I can't think.
It's pissing me off. It really is.
Bolton.
Troy Melton.
Yes.
Troy Melton. Thank you. So Troy Melton. So you're going to have Melton. You'll have Skubal. You'll have Mize. You'll have Flaherty. And maybe a free agent. So there's 5. But you're going to need more. What do you do about third base? It's the same damn question. What do you do about shortstop? Same damn question. What do you do about right field? Same damn question.
What if the cynic in me, Shep, said third base, Matt Vierling?
But not every day. He's not every day third baseman.
I don't think he is. I'm just saying. What if
he'll play there? Zach McKinstry will play there. He'll play there, perhaps. Maybe they move Baez over a little bit. And then you're going to tell me, well, Shep, then they're going to bring in Kevin McGonigal. He'll be your second baseman. Okay, so it's Colt Keith until McGonigal's ready. Or McGonigal's ready and he plays second base and Colt Keith plays third base. Okay. And then you're still got questions and we don't even know how good he's going to be. We don't know how good Colt Keith's going to be at third base either. There's a lot of question marks. My point is, free agency begins at 5 o'clock. You're going to know if this team is serious and if they'll keep Tarek Skubal by whom they add. Because you've got too many question marks. You can't run it back with this team and expect to win. The Yankees aren't standing pat. The Red Sox are not standing pat. I mean, Trevor Story opted in. He's going to be their shortstop. So they'll probably not have Alex Bregman. They got a young player who they think can play. I don't know what they're going to do with Duran. That'll be interesting. Not Jalen, but
Roberto.
No. Jalen Duran plays for the Pistons. Jalen Duran plays for the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not going to stand pat. The Mariners aren't standing pat. The Astros aren't standing pat.
No good team is standing pat. That's the bottom line.
And you better believe Toronto's going to do something. So nobody's just sitting on their laurels. You've got to evolve. The Tigers can't do that. If the Tigers go and sign a guy like Alex Bregman, who, by the way, I don't think he probably wouldn't even entertain a discussion unless he gets an answer about Tarek Skubal. Wouldn't surprise me if they said, hey, listen, are you going to sign Tarek Skubal? Because I know we got a shot. If they trade Tarek Skubal, those free agents are going to be like, sorry, Jonah Tung doesn't necessarily do it for me right now. I'm talking about the big name free agents who have other offers, okay? So I think you're going to find out pretty quick. That's the bottom line, okay? So that's a way to look forward to it. Last thing before we're out of here. Finally, he didn't get that here, but finally, I think you're seeing Matthew Stafford get some rightful pub about the player that he is. The MVP odds, Trent, have changed. If I ask you right now for to know who's the MVP favorite, the odds-on favorite in the National Football League as of this week, who is it?
I mean, I guess Mahomes.
It's Josh Allen, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Drake May.
Nice.
Number 4 is Matthew Stafford.
It's nice to see Drake May's name in that discussion, though, isn't it?
Do you think it's worthy?
Yes.
Do you think it's justified?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a fresh, it's something new.
Well, I'm okay with something old. Patrick Mahomes, okay? I don't care about freshness. I care about who's deserving.
Yeah.
Do you think he's deserving of it?
Yes.
Okay. So do I. I'm glad we agree there.
In the discussion, at least.
Yeah.
Of course.
Remember, 1984, before your time, Dan Marino was in his second year. Drake May's in his second year. Dan Marino was the MVP. Threw for 5,084 yards, 48 touchdowns. Both of them were league records at the time. Okay. In 2018, Patrick Mahomes threw for 5,097 yards. So 13 more than Marino. 50 touchdowns, 2 more than Marino, and led the Chiefs to the AFC title game. Who says May can't do it? He's at 2,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks. Patriots are 7-2. Who says? But the story and the angle for you and I is more about Matthew Stafford. There are people who just flat out can't stand him because he didn't, quote unquote, deliver for Detroit. Strongly disagree with that. Would have liked to have been better in certain playoff games. Sure. Yeah. People found that there was too late in certain games where he was just padding his stats, which is, I think, absolute bullcrap.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, good job. Yeah. So, again, I disagree with that, but, here's a guy who a lot of teams wanted and loved. Executives are speaking out on it. Executives are saying, this guy is elite. This is a guy who really, I mean, he's getting his flowers finally. Really good article in The Athletic where the executive said to the Athletic writers, I'm not surprised he's playing at such a high level. He has an elite skill set. I'm actually surprised whenever he doesn't play well. That's from one executive. Another executive. He's the most underrated quarterback ever. He's always been excellent, even in Detroit. A third different executive. He's a dude. He's lost nothing on his arm. He can sling it. His mind is amazing. The article also mentions that, he really hasn't gotten his due because the Lions didn't really win much while he was here, unfortunately, and quarterbacks get tabbed with that. And with Los Angeles, look, I mean, their football plays third fiddle. Kings are way down. Dodgers are way up. They're winning. And then you've got the Lakers and the guy who grabs all the headlines because you better give him the headlines or you're going to hear from his camp. Right? So better or worse, he's almost been hidden, according to this article in The Athletic. It's well done. It's a really good article by Jeff Howe. So give credit where credit is due. We just talked about Drake May and how good he's been. Well, Matthew Stafford is throwing for 270 yards a game. He's got 21 touchdowns. He's only got 2 picks. And his team is arguably the best team in the NFC. I'm glad he's finally getting some.
He's got to be in that discussion.
Yeah. But I'm also glad because you're hearing other players. There was Jared Verse was mic'd up last Sunday, and he was sitting on the bench. And that's where Stafford threw 4 first-half touchdown passes. And Verse goes, man, at number 9, he's cold. That's a good thing, by the way. Okay. He doesn't need a blanket. That's a good thing. Just for all you old-timers out there. That's a badass on the football field. We'll follow that because he's clearly got MVP credentials, as do the other players that I've mentioned, along with Jonathan Taylor, I might add. And I think it's a fun story to follow. Fun morning for you or for us with you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the input. We appreciate it.